Tough play. Jumping throw. Did he get him? The pick. In time! Jake Berkman, you gotta be kidding me!
Swung on and missed. He sits down 3 back-to-back-to-back.
Squares it up. This one's deep. Way back. See you later! Swings away. It's deep. Right center field. Carry ball. Carry. It's out of here! What a moment. The Woodchucks grab the lead.
And the pitch swung on a comebacker. Right to the pitcher. They're going to pick him off at second. That's exactly what the Woodchucks needed.
Swinging a drive. Deep right field. It's got Carey. It's out of here! A grand salami for Drew Berkman!
Welcome to episode 5 of Chucking It Up.
Tonight we got a special episode for you guys, episode number 5. Tonight we're not going to be necessarily chucking it up. We're going to be igniting it up. This episode is all about the Wausau's new softball team, the Wausau Ignite. We're just going to run through some of the details of the Northwoods League Softball. And then we have a really special interview with the manager of the Wausau Ignite.
Yeah, so to start, the league's first year was last year. They had 4 teams, the Mankato Habaneros, Madison Nightmares, Lacrosse Steam, Minot Honeybees, and now this year they're adding our own Wausau Ignite team.
Yeah, so pretty exciting. We've obviously had the Woodchucks here in Wausau for a long time. And now all the young girls and female fans get to watch some of their own get out there and play softball. So pretty exciting stuff. I'll be honest, we both are pretty new to softball, so we're learning as well as we go. And yeah,
but as you see in the interview that you guys are going to listen to, it was a very insightful interview, so stay tuned. And as we did in the interview, we learned a lot from Jasmin.
Yeah, so one thing that is different from Northwoods League Baseball is softball plays a 42-game season. Do you know offhand how many games of baseball the Woodchucks play?
2, I believe.
Right, so significant difference there.
A lot more double headers than baseball as well. They play 6. Wausau does. I don't know about the other teams, but I would seem it's similar. 6 for Wausau.
Yeah, and the Northwoods League Softball is very new. Last year was the first season. Then it was the 4 teams mentioned. And now in the second season, the 5th team will be Wausau. So still very, very new. But again, also very exciting to...
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for you, the young women in our community, young college athletes. They didn't have this opportunity before, from what I've heard. There wasn't anything for them to do in the summer. They just didn't play softball. And now they have an opportunity to keep playing and get better over the summer. And I think it's just going to enhance the sport, the college sport, and then the few pro leagues that are out there.
And again, it just will bring more excitement to Athletic Park. So you already have the Woodchucks playing all summer, and now you even have even more games to go watch and another team to cheer on in the Ignite.
Yeah, I wonder how Woody feels, because we went to the name ceremony where they announced the name. He wasn't there. We still don't know where he was that day.
Yeah, I'm hoping he was just busy and wasn't too upset, because for forever he's been the only mascot at Athletic Park.
There's going to be 2.
So I hope he's doing okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, I just hope he wasn't sitting in the burrow while that was going on, just all by himself. I wish I could have been there for him.
Well, yeah, and Woody needs to know, and I don't know if he listens to this, but Woody, if you are listening, we still love you. You're still the man. So just hang in there, okay, bud?
Yeah, and another big difference too from baseball to softball is baseball you play 9 innings, softball they play 7. So a little shorter game as well.
And they do. I'm not sure the distance offhand, but they do bring the fences in, so they'll have a temporary fence that they put up. And
I think it's the in 200 zone, a little bit over 200 or something like that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I believe the mound the mound is closer too. But yeah,
Yeah.
from what you'll hear when we talk to Jasmine, like it's still just as exciting, and this is a pretty big deal.
And she's pretty good at softball so. But opening day for the Ignite is June 10th at 6:35 at Athletic Park against the lacrosse team. So I'm going to try to be there. I don't know about Dan, but I think he is. We're going to try to be
Yeah,
there. It's going to be an exciting night. I know they had the first ever softball game last week. 2 high schools played there. I believe it was Mosinee against East, but that was a record-breaking thing. They had their first softball game there. Just really cool. Athletic Park's going to get used more. I heard it's a beautiful field because they had to put turf in for softball, and I've heard it just looks gorgeous.
yeah, the turf will help too because from what we've heard from Mark was saying that field gets pretty torn up in a season. So now that there's 2 teams playing, it would have got even more wear and tear in it. So the turf will help it hold up a lot better.
Turf is better for the weather and all that good stuff
Right.
too.
So, and then yeah, this is similar. The players are the similar type of players you'll see as like the Woodchucks. These are any players who have college eligibility remaining can come play softball in the Northwoods League. There'll also be select graduated high school players who have been admitted to college. They can play too. So anyone who just graduated, not necessarily has played college yet, but has been accepted to a college. And then there will be a limited number of college players who just recently graduated college. So it'll be a mix. And yeah, it's again just a really exciting thing. And twice the twice the amount of games and teams to cheer on here in Wausau.
Yeah, and it's big for young little girls. They get to see that anything is possible. Like with the Woodchucks, those are all young men. But now these young girls can see that anything is possible, that they could be a Wausau Ignite when they get older. And that's something for them to dream about, them to set a goal high and go get it.
Yeah, and especially both of us having daughters, it's just cool for them to see, you know, they love the Woodchucks, and we tell them they can do anything they want, and they can, but just to see, you know, young women out there who look like them, and you know, just to show that yeah, they can play too. So that'll
Uh,
be that'll be exciting.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun time. How successful the Woodchucks are. I'm sure the community is going to get behind the Ignite just like they did the Woodchucks. Maybe even more because I heard softball's a very exciting game. I don't see anything that's going to be different. I'm sure it's going to be a successful program. When you guys hear from Jasmin, you're going to share the same sentiment that I am, that she's going to be a successful coach here in Wausau and probably be a GOAT like Corey Thompson.
Yeah, she does provide a lot of insight. Even gave us some knowledge that we were asking her a bunch of questions that you'll see that we just didn't know. So we learned some stuff, and yeah, going back to opening day, everyone should try to pack Athletic Park for that because that'll be history. That'll be the first ever Wausau Ignite game in Athletic Park. Won't be the first softball game, but it'll be the first Wausau Ignite game ever.
And all those
And
fun promotions, I haven't really looked at their promotional schedule, but from what I can tell, it should be all the same. Great promos every night, and just another reason to get out there and check out the players and the team and the new game of softball.
yeah, and I don't know if you've seen the logo or not, but the logo is so cool, and we can throw it here on the screen to show you. But yeah, it's really cool, and they got the name right. I think they knocked it out of the park to do a little softball reference with the name, the logo, the colors. Looks really cool.
Yeah,
So
I think they did well. They got the name right, they got the logo, they got the colors. I like how they kept the same colors as the Woodchucks. They just got it all right.
yeah, and I'm saying that, and I had a name in the running. One of my names made the bracket. It unfortunately lost to the Curd Crushers, but no, I'm glad they I'm glad they got the Ignite the name right with the Ignite. So
Yeah, I think once the
exciting
dust
things.
settles, Woody is going to be a happy guy because maybe there'll be a girl mascot next time. And Woody
Yeah,
digs the chicks, so
and who knows? Maybe Woody will be showing up in the Ignite games too.
yeah.
I think he'll really like them.
Hmm.
So,
So yeah, but I don't want to hold this interview back much longer because it's that great of an interview. We were blown away by it, so I'm sure our fans will be blown away by it. If
I
you
do
guys
want to
could
say,
please hit that subscribe button, we'd really appreciate it. Subscribe wherever you listen to the pod, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast. Just hit that subscribe button for us. We would really appreciate it. Thanks.
and I do want to say one thing before we send you to what is a really great interview with Jasmine. I believe that this is that we have the first long form interview with Jasmine here in Wausau. I know after they announced the name, though, the news had a little interview with her, but I don't think anyone's had a long form interview like this with her. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm not sure why, because she's a great interviewer. And I'm not just saying that. She answered the questions with thoughtful answers. They were insightful. Great interviewer.
and yeah, she is so good at softball.
She is going to be a great asset to our community. Great asset.
So yeah, let's send you over to the Jasmine interview, and yeah, you'll learn some stuff just like we did.
Yep. Well, here's the interview. Enjoy. Peace out. Joining us next on the pod is St. Cloud State softball legend and your Wausau Ignite manager, Jasmin Estrada.
Hey Jasmine, welcome to Chucking It Up.
Thank you, guys. I'm super excited.
Yeah, so you're really good at softball. Like we went through. We always make notes for the guests, and like we've got like 2 pages of notes for you, and no one's ever made it to 2 pages before.
Oh, that's funny.
So yeah, we can just get right into it. Start at is it Litchfield High School?
Yes, born and raised in Litchfield.
And you played shortstop.
I did play shortstop. I didn't last long there, though. Played shortstop for a few years in high school, and then I got moved to first base for my senior year. And then I went into St. Cloud and played first base.
And you're a power hitter, I see. 32 home runs in your high school career, which is third most all time in Minnesota State history. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of funny though because I felt like I wasn't really good at softball, and then my sophomore year I kind of started hitting home runs, and I was like, this is kind of fun. Like maybe I will stick with this sport because I played 2 other sports in high school that I really really liked. I played hockey and volleyball, and I played hockey my entire life, so I was always leaning towards that one. And then I started hitting a couple home runs here and there in high school, and I was like, I think I might like softball a little bit more.
And then did you just focus on softball, or did you continue hockey and?
I continued all 3 sports throughout my entire senior year. Like I played all 3 sports my entire high school career. I just kind of got lucky with, I went to one camp in high school and I got noticed by the 3 coaches that were running the camp. And luckily they all invited me out to their campus and I just kind of ended up committing for softball. And I was like, well, dang, like I really enjoyed my other 2 sports, but it was super hard for me to give those 2 up. But obviously, I ended up enjoying softball, and I'm glad that I picked softball.
Yeah, you were a 4-time letter winner, all conference, all area, and all section.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
So then you moved on to St. Cloud State. And did you play in infield there or just first?
I kind of moved around a decent amount at St. Cloud. I went in as a shortstop and I played there for just a little bit. Truthfully, the moment I kind of got like midway through the fall, they're like, all right, you're too tall. For shortstop, we're going to shift you over to first base. So I played first. I played a little bit of third. And then even like my last year, my COVID year, my coach shoved me out into outfield for a little bit. And I was like, you do not want me in outfield. Never played there before. So that didn't last too long. But yeah, I've mainly always played first base.
Yeah, and I saw that you were second team all NCIS honors as designated player. What is designated player?
It's the same thing as a DH. I don't know why
Okay.
it's called a DP in softball, but it's a DH.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
And you own a good chunk of the record book for St. Cloud. The all-time RBI leader, extra base hits, home run leader, single game hits, most RBIs in a game. Did I miss any?
I don't think so. I do actually. You did miss one, probably my least favorite one, where it's most strikeouts in the season.
I did see that, but I was like, nah, we don't need to bring that up.
Oh no, it's okay. I actually am like, I'm not super like ashamed of that record, especially because like it kind of showed how much I've grown throughout the years. Because I set that my freshman year and I was just going down swinging constantly my freshman year. So when I broke that record, I was like, I just want to grow from there. And so breaking that record, I was like, all I want to do is just grow from that. I'm not ashamed of it. Honestly, truthfully, it's just kind of shown how much I've grown as a player and grown at the plate and grown my mental game. So, I mean, I'm not super fond of it, but I'm also not like, I'm cool with it.
Do you still hold the school record for 7 RBIs in a game?
I think so. I think someone recently tied me, but yeah, I think I'm still number one tied with someone else.
And you were the first 3-time All NSIC award winner in program history.
Yep. Yep, I actually received it all 4 years, yeah. But yeah, that was a super cool honor, especially because no one else in the program had done it yet, and for me to do it 4 times, I was kind of in shock, truthfully. Especially like one of my seasons where I didn't feel that I did the best and I still got it, and I was like, wow. I'm just thankful that I got that. So
And I've noticed for the most part, you played in like every single game for in every season. I know there's a couple where you missed maybe one, but that's pretty impressive too, like the durability.
yeah, truthfully, it kind of helped being a DH. Like I didn't get burnt out too much. So I feel like that kind of saved me. There was a few times where I was injured here and there, and needed a little bit of a rest because I think on my true senior year, not my COVID year, but my true senior year, I ended up almost tearing my MCL. So I missed a few games in that season, but yeah, I was super lucky that my coach kind of gave me the opportunity right as I got in as a freshman, and she let me grow. And like I said, I literally set the record for most strikeouts. So I was super thankful that she never benched me through that entire process and kind of let me grow through it. And yeah.
So like after college softball, is there like I guess leagues that players can go to, or is it just like once you're done in college, that's basically the end of your softball career, playing
It kind of
wise?
depends. It kind of depends. There's a few professional softball leagues. Truthfully, I don't understand why they don't combine, but there's a couple, like there's Athletes Unlimited, and then there's a new league. I think it's tied in with the Athletes Unlimited, and they're just maybe building on it. But then you have the National Professional Fast Pitch Association as well. So there's definitely some teams out there, but truthfully, like if you're not at a high Division 1 level at like UCLA or LSU, um, yeah, you pretty much are done once you're done with college.
And do players get paid in those leagues?
I think they do. Obviously, not as much as Major League Baseball gets paid, but I think they make like a solid salary for the most part.
So before these two leagues that you mentioned, were there options or was it just you're done?
I think the National Professional Fast Pitch League, the NPF has been around for a long time, but truthfully, like it kind of was just off and on. But I think that's kind of all there was, along with like training for the Olympics or playing overseas. I know that overseas has always been there in the softball world, and I think a lot of players go overseas to continue to play.
Did you ever get looked at for those leagues?
Yes and no. I went down and played. I went to South Carolina to play in the Carolina League, similar to the Northwoods League. And the guy who was running it had ties with the national team Mexico for the Olympics. And he sent them my metrics and everything, but he had said that they had already left for the Olympics and kind of already had their team. But not. It was on and off, truthfully. If I could have went to go play overseas, I definitely would have. But it's too far for my family. I don't think I would ever be able to move overseas and do that kind of thing.
So then Was it always coaching, or did you have something else in mind?
I've always kind of been back and forth. I am also an education major. I graduated with my major in physical education and health. Um, So I've always kind of been into education. I've always kind of been involved in that, but I've also had a really deep passion for coaching. Like I've literally coached my entire life. So once I finished my COVID year, I signed to be the graduate assistant at Northern State, and I absolutely loved my experience. So after that, I was kind of like, yeah, I want to be a college coach. Like eventually, the dream is to be a head coach at a Division I program, but I dabble here and there with whether I want to stay in education and coach kind of on the side or become a full-time coach and figure out how to keep a balance between education and softball.
And then I see you also are the head coach for MASH 18 and under national team.
Yep. Match actually just expanded to softball. I think the summer that I actually was the head coach for the 18U national team, I believe was their first summer. They're a really successful baseball program. They have a beautiful facility that they literally refer to as a campus because truthfully that's what it is. Like it is a beautiful campus. But yeah, coaching their 18U national team, which was fun. We traveled a lot. But obviously, with starting up a softball program, there's going to be growing pains, but everyone has those. But it was really fun to be a part of that program.
Does MASH stand for something?
It does.
I tried to look
I
it
want
up
to
and I
say
couldn't.
it's. I want to say it stands for like making athletes sustainable humans or something like that. It's something along those lines. I feel like it has multiple meanings where it kind of like changes here and there, but it definitely has a meaning. It's something with making athletes something.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I was trying to look it up, but I couldn't find anything. So
Yeah.
So then, what was the process of being named the manager of the Ignite?
Well, first I was sent the job position by actually the assistant general manager for the Raptors, Jake Adams. He is one of my really close friends. He interned for the Wilmer Stingers. I've been around him for a long time. And he sent me the position. He's like, hey, like I don't know if you're interested in coaching, but like there's a job position opening for the head coach for Northwoods League team. And I was like, oh, like sure, like I'll apply. And it was just I think it was 3 interviews that I had to go through. Not super extensive. I mean, I met Brianne, the general manager, and then I met Mark, and then I also met Ryan on top of that. And then after I had met with Mark and Ryan, they called me to name me the head coach.
so then now do you have a hand in building the team and the players that join the team? I guess.
Yeah, it kind of goes like, I mean, they asked me like how much help I want. So I kind of get to handpick the girls. Truthfully, like I get on phone calls every week with girls, whether it's emailing or texting, just trying to find a time to call them just so they can kind of get my vibe and so I can get their vibe as well. But I think we have over half of the roster signed right now. And I think kind of all of those girls have just been from phone calls, truthfully.
What did you learn from your past coaching experiences, and how will that help you in leading the Ignite?
Good question. Truthfully, like being a GA, I was super lucky to have the experience that I did. I was the only other person on the staff with my head coach, so it was literally just me and her. So I kind of acted as an assistant coach, whether it's like getting the hotels or getting the transportation or getting the food, but I was also really hands-on with the coaching. So I feel like I was able to grow a lot as a coach, especially learning I feel like the biggest thing that I learned was just how to coach individuals based on how they react. Like I have to actually individualize my coaching for each player. And I feel like when I coached at Northern State, I really learned that. So I feel like that's going to really help me with the Ignite, just making sure that I'm coaching girls with their strengths and just letting them grow as players because ultimately like they come to this league to get the reps and to get live reps, whether it's because they're not playing a ton right now in their season, but just making sure that we're making it a fun experience. And I think that's kind of the perk of being a young coach is that I'm not too far removed from the game. So I do know how to keep it like relatable and I do know how to keep it fun. Whereas like maybe like an older coach would struggle a little bit with that relating to the girls, but I feel like that's super helpful kind of being a young coach is that they see me as relatable, they see me as I can still have fun with them, but also keeping it focused and intentional.
Did you know the Northwoods League before you heard about this position?
I did. My older brother actually played for the Wilmer Stingers. He signed his junior year of high school to the Wilmer Stingers. So I've been involved with the Northwoods League literally since I've been like 15 or 16. And Ryan Voss and I think Mark Jerzak, I think is his name. I forget. He would be so mad at me for forgetting. I've literally been in their ear since I've been so young. Like, when are we going to get softball going? Like, I want to play in the Northwoods League. I love the atmosphere that the Northwoods League gives players. And I've always just been bugging them about it. And of course, he starts it up the year after I get out. And I was like, really? But yeah, I've always kind of been involved with the Northwoods League. I mean, I live in St. Cloud, Minnesota right now, and we have the St. Cloud Rocks, and they're super well known. But yeah, it kind of started when my brother signed with the Wilmer Stingers, and we've always kind of kept a close contact with those owners, and yeah.
So in college softball, do teams play every day?
No. We kind of, for college softball, it's kind of on and off. I mean, the thing that is different about softball compared to baseball that I've noticed is that we always do double headers. So it's like Tuesday we'll play a double header, Thursday we'll play a double header. It's literally always back-to-back games. It's never just one game unless we're like playing in the conference tournament where it's one game. But yeah, we usually play like a midweek and then a series on at the end of the week where it's Saturday 2 games, Sunday 2 games, and then we'll play like on a Tuesday or Thursday 2 games.
So how do you think that will affect these women playing in the Northwoods, not playing every day to playing 5 games a week?
Yeah. I've literally told every single one of the girls that I've gotten on a phone call with that it's a grind. It's a completely different beast than college softball. You're literally playing every day with a couple days off. I will say the thing that's different between the softball and baseball side of the Northwoods League is that we get a lot more days off than the baseball side. Like where we have 2 or 3 days off at a time, where baseball doesn't have that. I think they maybe have like 2 base off days the entire summer. So they are prepped for that, but I think it is an adjustment that the girls will have to learn, that you can't, like, some of the girls are like, well, can we go practice on our off days? I'm like, I don't know if you're going to want to practice a ton. Like, you're going to want to take your off days when you have them. So I think it's going to be an adjustment for some of the girls, but it's an adjustment just for everything. So I think they'll kind of catch on fast that it's a grind and that they really have to be smart with their cooling down and making sure that they're keeping track and keeping up with their bodies and making sure that they're resting when needed.
Yeah, so I don't know a ton about softball, but are they going to have to make any adjustments to the field for like Athletic Park when you guys play versus the Woodchucks?
Well, I don't know if you guys know. I don't know if it has been turfed before, but the field is now turfed. So it's like completely turfed. So I think they'll bring a portable mound in for baseball now, and then we'll just not use a mound. But I do know that we have our own fencing that they'll set up, because typically like softball fields are like 235 down center and then like 200 left and right. So they'll set up those temporary fences, but really that's kind of all there is to it, is just making sure that our fences are set up and we don't have a mound, obviously.
How many other coaches are on your staff? And do you have that filled?
We have one right now, assistant coach. We're trying to work on getting another one. I've been in contact with the pitching coach. We want to have 4 total, including me on the staff. So me and 3 assistant coaches.
Have you met or talked to the Woodchucks manager, Corey Thompson?
I have not, actually, not yet. I've only been to Wausau one time, and I haven't like really met a ton of people besides like Brianne, Ryan, and Mark, and the social media people in Wausau.
Yeah, he's like the greatest manager in Woodchucks history. So
He is. Dan, he would
I'm
be mad at
excited
you
to meet
saying
him.
that.
Yeah.
Come on.
yeah,
So did you have like a favorite softball player or favorite baseball player growing up?
My favorite baseball player, it's a really hot take here. I love the Yankees just because I've kind of always grown up with them. So I've loved Derek Jeter since I've been little. I also really like Bryce Harper as well. He's a player that I've always watched and kind of studied, especially because he's such a great hitter. So it's kind of chalking up to those two. I've always kind of loved.
yeah. What about Jenny Finch? Is she like the best softball player ever, most well
Yeah.
known, I guess?
Yeah, she's definitely top 5 probably with the most well known. I mean, I would say probably like one of the best is Jocelyn Allo. I mean, she set the NCAA home run record. Lauren Chamberlain. Kind of blanking on softball players. Those are definitely two of my top ones. Jocelyn Allo is insane to watch, and she's super fun. And then Lauren Chamberlain is also insane too.
Speaking of Bryce Harper, I read that you and him shared the same drill growing up with the bottle caps.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. My dad, every time I would get into a slump, I would go home to work with my dad because he was my hitting coach my entire life, and truthfully, I don't really trust anyone else with my swing. So whenever I would be in a slump, he would take the little bottle caps and just flick them at me, and I would have to use a tiny little bat. And truthfully, a lot of the time it works. Like it just kind of works on just slowing things down and really like seeing the ball, or I guess seeing the bottle cap. But yeah, I love that drill. It's something that I use with my players too.
Is that a really hard drill to get used to? It sounds like really hard.
Yes, just because I mean you can flick the bottle caps in a really weird way. And then also having to use a really small bat on top of that. Like it is literally like a really skinny little bat that you have to use. So it does really make you focus on what you're doing and making you really watch it coming in. So yeah, it can definitely be a really hard drill. It can be a really frustrating drill, especially when you're in a slump. But once you start hitting them consistently, it's a fun drill to do.
So how do you get your players motivated? Like, do you get loud? How do you fire them up?
Truthfully, I have a little bit of a fiery side to me. I can get a little bit loud, but truthfully, I just like to make it fun too, and I feel like that's a really great way to motivate players is just by keeping it fun. But yeah, I definitely have a little bit of a feisty side to me, especially because I'm super competitive. I come from a very competitive softball program, and I also come from a super competitive family. I literally have brothers, no sisters. So growing up with two brothers has made me super competitive. So yeah, definitely getting loud, getting a little feisty, but also keeping it fun for them too.
What are you looking forward to most in the Northwoods League? Coaching in the Northwoods League now.
Truthfully, just like getting to meet the players and giving them a really solid experience. I'm just super excited to just just to coach the game that I love, just because I have such a passion for it, and being a part of the Northwoods League and the atmosphere that the Northwoods League brings for not just baseball but softball too. It's such a fun thing to be a part of, and I'm really excited to be a part of that atmosphere.
And how does it feel that to make history? No matter what happens, you'll always be the first ever Wausau Ignite manager.
It's super cool. Truthfully, like sometimes I'm just like, this is not real. Like I literally every day I'm like, this is not real. Sometimes I swear. But it's super exciting. I'm like so thankful for Brienne and Mark and Ryan for giving me the opportunity to do this. Um, so yeah, I'm really excited.
So is this being the manager, is it like you take it a year at a time and then they ask you next year if you want to come back? Or how does that work?
I think so. Truthfully, that I have no idea about that. I think it goes year to year just because, like, when I signed my contract, it was only for the year. So I really do think it kind of goes year by year.
So, like when we interviewed Corey, he told
Okay.
us he had kind of connections with building the roster. Like he's from the Florida area, so that's where a lot of the woodchucks come from. Do you have those connections being a younger coach?
I have a lot of connections within the NSIC, especially because I've always kind of had good relationships with the surrounding coaches, the surrounding schools. And I also have like some of those coaches that have gone off to different schools, and I still stay in contact with them every day. Like I have my old GA who went to Nebraska Omaha, who coaches D1 now. I'm still in constant contact with her and checking in with her. One of my coaches is at Illinois State. So I've been super lucky to have some really good people, especially as GAs, that have carried on to continue coaching softball. But yeah, I still have a lot of connections within the NSIC and in St. Cloud too, at St. Cloud State. You know, like I stay close with I still have a few teammates that are still on the team playing. So I try and stay pretty close to them, and I try and stay on good terms with all the coaches, even though there's been a few that I've been a little feisty with here and there during games, but they know it's all just me being competitive. So yeah.
Now, you say you're feisty. Have you ever been ejected?
No, but I've actually been pretty close. There's been a couple times where the umps have almost ejected me, but luckily, like, I am like, oh, okay, sorry, I'll calm down. There's been a couple times. There was one my freshman year, and then there was actually one my COVID year, but I've never been ejected, so I'm glad I've never been. I don't want to know what my coach's response would have been to me because she was really scary. So I always knew that I had to like tone it down in that last second so I would never get ejected.
Have you ever had to like argue with an ump as a coach?
No, I try not to argue with the umps just because I know that the moment you argue with them, the moment they kind of like get a little cold shoulder towards you and they won't always be on your side. So I always try and stay on ump's good side. I try not to argue with them, even though some of the calls can be really bad, especially in the NSIC. They're notorious for that. We don't have the greatest umpires in the NSIC, so never had to argue with anyone. I try and keep my calm when it comes to the umpires, that's for sure.
So, what would you tell a person who's just been a woodchuck fan, a baseball fan, to come over to the softball side? Why would you tell them to come over there? What would you tell them to come check out?
Truthfully, I would tell them to just come out and check the game of softball because it is such a fast-paced game. And I think it picks up a lot from baseball. I mean, we're playing from 43 feet instead of how far. Like I don't know how far a baseball mound is. Truthfully, I'm kind of blanking. But it's a lot closer, so everything goes by really fast. And we only play 7 innings, so truthfully, Um, I would tell them to come and watch the game of softball because it is so fun to watch, especially because the girls are so passionate. Where boys are a little bit more on the chill side. Girls are always cheering, they're singing, they're doing all of these fun things, they're dancing. So it's a little bit more lighter on the softball side of things and a little bit more faster. So I would just tell them to come watch how fun the game can be.
Yeah, we both have daughters, young daughters, so we're excited.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Yeah.
love Woodchucks games, so we're excited to bring them out and
Mm-hmm.
let them see some girls like them out there playing.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Now, I'm a baseball fan. I've watched softball. I like college softball, the
Mm-hmm.
World Series and stuff. But why is the ball yellow?
That's a great question. I'm not sure about that, truthfully.
Okay, so we are building a playlist, and every guest that comes on, we ask them what is that one song that gets them fired up, like pumped up, like to kick a door off the hinges or whatever gets you going, and then we'll
Yep.
add it to our playlist. So, what is that one song for you?
Oh my gosh, that is such a hard question. I would probably have to go with my walk-up song from college. It's called Chambea. It's by Bad Bunny. It's a Spanish song, but I used it for my walk-up song, and it always got everyone so hyped, and it got me super hyped. Um, so I would definitely pick that song.
All right, we'll add that.
I saw around 6 o'clock tonight they announced their first signee. I know you said the
Mhm.
roster was pretty much filled, but they announced their first one tonight from Parkside.
Yep. Mia Johnson. Yep. She's a phenomenal hitter. She's actually one of the top power hitters in the nation right now for Division Two. I think she surpassed 15 home runs, which is in April. That's nuts. To go past 10 home runs is insane. I don't know if I've ever gotten past 12 for my college career. So for her to just I think she's hit 5 in 1 weekend, literally in 4 games. So she's a phenomenal signing. I'm really excited to work with her and to see her at the plate this summer.
Do you or have you coached any players that will be in the Northwoods League this year for softball?
Um, no. I am currently trying to recruit one of the Northern State girls for the second half of the season, but we kind of got to see if it's going to work out. So potentially maybe one on this team. But everything kind of has to fall in line for that to work. But um No, I mean, there's a couple that have came in right after me. Right after I finished at St. Cloud State, there's a couple. There's one on the lacrosse team, and then there's one on Mankato. And then I think there might be potentially one more St. Cloud State player joining someone's roster. And I've actually played with her, so there's a couple people that I know in the league, and I mean they've done a great job in the league. So I'm super excited to coach against them too.
How many games do you guys play?
42. 21 home, 21 away.
Yeah, so what can we expect from the Wausau Ignite this season?
I think just a lot of passion and a lot of energy. I mean, talking to these girls, they all have very different personalities. We have a couple quiet girls where I'm like, you're gonna definitely mesh with some of these girls, and we have a couple girls that are just really out there and they love to chat. So I just know that they're also gonna love to cheer. You're obviously gonna see some really great power hitters up at the plate. Especially like a player like Mia Johnson, who is just so fun to watch at the plate. But yeah, just a lot of passion, a lot of energy, and some really good hitting and pitching as well.
Did you know the team name before it was revealed?
I did. I have known for a while, and so I was super anxious to get it out there because I've like seen the logo and everything, and I knew how cool the logo was. So I was just super anxious for them to release it, especially because they released it in April. And I think I've known since like beginning of March, middle March. So I've known for so long, and I'm just like, these girls would love to know that our logo is so cool. And truthfully, like being unbiased, I swear, like I think we have one of the cooler logos in the league. So especially the colors. I absolutely love our colors of our logo.
Yeah, they definitely got it right. For sure.
They got it right, for sure.
For sure.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes, I think so.
That's 4 for 4. Everyone has said yes so far, every guess.
And I say it's not a sandwich, but we don't need to get into it.
What would you consider it?
Well, it's not a
hot
sandwich.
dog.
You don't say, go make me a hot dog sandwich. You say, can you go
That's
make
true.
me a ham sandwich? A turkey sandwich.
You do have
Right,
that right. I will agree with you on that one.
You can't get a hot dog at Subway.
That's true.
Well, have you ever asked?
That's true.
You got anything else, Dan?
No, that was all I had.
Yeah, that's all I had in my 2-page of notes.
Perfect.
You got anything else for us?
I don't think so. Nope.
Okay, well, we really appreciate you being on and coming on with us.
Yeah, and we're excited
I appreciate it.
watch the Ignite this season.
My daughter
I
was really
appreciate it.
excited that I finally had a girl on the podcast.
Are you guys planning on asking one of the players to come on the podcast?
We hadn't had that in mind because we really didn't have that relationship with them. But now that we have the connection with you,
Yeah, it could be cool if we did.
Yeah.
we're open to anything, really.
Cool. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it, especially because it's late at night, so I appreciate you guys taking the time to chat with me.
No problem.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
All right, we'll
Thank
see
you
you
guys. Thank you.
See ya.